All right, with the next set of notes, we have our triangle inequalities. Unfortunately, if you're not in class to do this, you didn't get to do the discovery that the rest of the class did, where we got to play with like little toys and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and do that on here on the camera. That way, you guys can see exactly what the students were doing in their groups during class. What we have are these little things called angles. They're just these little clippable things that we can make shapes, snap them together, and make different shapes. You'll see me doing that here in a minute. It's saying use the following colored segments to try to make a triangle with them. So the first one, so it's going to want an orange, a purple, and a red. So I'm going to take my orange, a purple, and a red, and I'm going to take these and try it, and I'm going to clip them together. I'm going to see if I can form a triangle out of them. Doesn't matter which order you clip them in. Okay? And what we're going to notice here is I cannot get the purple and the orange together without either busting open one of them, or it's going to end up curving and becoming three-dimensional. So this does not create, I cannot create a triangle out of these, as you can see. Okay? It'll flatten out and everything. So it asks for a drawing of it, and different people may have different drawings depending on how they clipped it together. But here, I'll just go ahead and draw what I have here. I've got my red segment or side right here. I've got my purple. I'll just kind of draw it going upwards like that, like it's like here, and then I have my orange one going like this, but we see that they do not connect. So the old angles that I used to use at my old school would actually have engraved right here how long these were in centimeters, but unfortunately these do not. So I'm going to go ahead and give these to you. The red right here, these are all in centimeters, was 14.14, so 14 and 1400ths. The purple was 7 700ths centimeters, and the orange was a flat out 5 centimeters. So now we want to come down here and say, okay, add the length of the two smaller sides together and compare the length of the third side. Meaning, is the sum going to be greater than, equal to, or less than? So we take these and we take our two smaller ones here, the 5 plus the 7 700ths. This is going to come out to a total of 12 700ths. I'm going to put this big circle here because we're going to put the greater than, less than, or equal to sign in there. And we're going to compare it to that larger side. Okay, so here's our small side, our middle or medium side, and our large side. And we're going to put our large side over here, 14 and 1400ths. And we're going to find out here that the sum is less than the larger side. So we'll take a look at the next one. I want a red, a green, and a blue. So I'm going to move this to the side. I've got my red, my green, and my blue. I'm going to go ahead and clip these together, whichever order we want. Actually do clip it together. There we go. Together, and I'm going to bring the other two, bring these two sides together to see, can I bring these together and clip them to make a triangle? Well, when I clipped them, look at that. I've got a triangle. Score. So here, with my triangle, I'm going to go ahead and copy what I have. If you're not doing different colors, it is literally no big deal. Okay, it really does not matter. Here I've got my green side over here. Plus, these aren't really bright colors anyway. And there's my red. So we're going to take a look here. All right, again, we've got our red side is still going to be 14 and 1400ths. Okay, my blue is going to be 12 and 2400ths. Making sure I'm using my math words. And the green is 8 and 6600ths. These are all centimeters. Okay. So again, we're going to add the two lengths of the smaller ones and compare it to the larger side. So here's our small side, here's our middle side, those are the two we're going to add, and here's that large side. So I'm going to take my 12 and 2400ths plus the 8 and 6600ths, and this sum will come out to 20 and 9/10ths. I'm going to put this big old circle here to compare. I'm going to put a greater than, less than, or equal sign in there. Put the larger side, 14 and 1400ths, over here. And I notice here that the sum of my two smaller sides this time is greater than the larger side. All right, one more we get to play around with here. We need two oranges and a yellow. So here's my yellow. Go ahead and clip on my oranges. And if I can get it clipped on. It does not want to clip. There we go. We're going to take a look at it and say, can I close those oranges? Now, when I say close the oranges, I don't mean them touching. The distances are from these little knobs here, so that we have to actually clip it together. And if we actually get that clipped together, you're not going to have a triangle, because if you go like this, you see how the yellow's curving now? So we end up not having, we cannot form a triangle, because even if you go like this, you're like, oh, look, it's a triangle. No, there's no space in between right here, so we do not have a triangle on this guy right here. So this is what I'm going to draw. Now, obviously, I don't have a yellow pen that's going to work, so I'll just use my black pen for yellow. But here's the yellow, and then my two orange sides did not quite come together. Okay? So for our side lengths, the yellow was 10, and the oranges were both 5. So again, we're going to take the two smaller. Now, if you look at it, both these sides are the same, so you can either call them the small, or the small and medium. It doesn't matter, but those are the two that we're going to add together. When you have two sides that are exactly the same and they're smaller than the third one, you'll add them together. And then this will be our larger side. So we take that 5 plus 5, and we should all know what that equals, 10. We're going to compare it to that larger side, 10, and we're going to find out that this is equal. Now, what the students were then to do was to take a look at what's going on with these. The sum of the two smaller sides, okay, comparing it to the larger side. We had a less than, we had a less than, we had a greater than, and we had an equal. And what we wanted to see was which of these made the triangle. Well, the overall conclusion that we can draw from this is that the only one that made the triangle was when the sum of the two smaller sides was greater than the third side. So down here, we'll go ahead and write in the overall conclusion is the sum of the two smaller sides. I'm going to capitalize this. Two smaller sides must be greater than, make sure I'm still on the screen, the longest side. So all you need to do is take the two smaller numbers, add them together. If it is greater than the third side, then bam, you've got a triangle. If it's less than or equal to, you do not have a triangle. And we always like to put the sum on the left-hand side of our inequality sign or equal sign. Okay, and that's why we call it triangle inequalities, because we're looking at greater than. The next section the students got to do was, we did have to give them a bit of information here because we have protractors, but we're not really good at measuring with protractors. We've never practiced it. So we gave them over here, it says the measure of the angles. The angle across from the yellow ended up being 45 degrees, and I'll build the triangle here in a minute. The angle across from the red was 95 degrees, and the angle across from the green was 40 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and take these. Got my yellow, and then my red and green, my Christmas colors. Yay, it's almost Christmas, right? Not even Thanksgiving yet, right? All right, come on, guys. Clip together. Work with me. Let me try on the other side here. Let me pause the video and get these guys. So suddenly we have a triangle. All right. So I had little troubles there. So the other thing is we want to know how long each segment is. Now we mentioned it on the other page, okay, but we'll go ahead and rewrite this in. Our yellow segment was 10 centimeters. Our red segment was 14 and 1400ths. And our green segment was 8 and 6600ths. So we're going to answer these questions based on this guy, okay? Now the whole reason we put the triangle together technically is so you can measure the angles. I'll have some students try to measure the angles if they want to, no big deal, okay? But now we want to answer these questions and draw some more conclusions. The first question is, where is the largest angle located? So we go over here and we look for the largest angle, all right? Your largest angle here is that 95 degrees. So the largest angle was located right here, across from red. So here we put across from red. Simple enough, right? Now they want to know what color is the longest side. So now we come over here, and what color was the longest or largest side? Look at that. It was red. So you see this connection here. Largest angle across from the red, the largest side was red. Let's see something else here. Where is the smallest angle located? So let's go over here, find our smallest angle. Oh, right here's the 40. Okay, and our 40 was across from the green. So here you have across from, green. And then now what color is the shortest side? Now we're looking at the smallest angle and smallest side. So we go up here and we say, okay, what was the smallest side? Green. Should be seeing something going on here. And what the students are discovering is that we want to say, what is the overall conclusion you could draw from the location of the largest angle? Well, here, the largest angle was across from our longest side. So that's a conclusion we should be able to draw there, is that the largest angle is across from the longest side, or largest side, whichever way you want to say it. And the last one is, what is the overall conclusion you could draw about the smallest angle? Well, we just noticed up here the smallest angle was across from green, and green was our smallest or shortest side. So here we have the smallest angle is across from the smallest or shortest side. The way that I look at it here and the way that I say it is the biggest is across from the biggest, the smallest is across from the smallest. So whether you're looking at longest or largest or smallest or shortest, whatever, we know what means big and we know what means small. And then of course that middle side or the medium side here, even though it doesn't say down here, that middle one here was across from the yellow, and we look over here, the middle side was the yellow. So your middle will be across from your middle as well. What I'm going to do is I let the kids kind of like play with them after a while, kind of look at them, but I do want to bring in the assignment so that I can show you a couple things on the assignment, great ways of going through. Magically it appears. So I want to go over, a couple of these just to kind of see, this is what I like to do whenever I'm doing these. The first thing we're going to see is we want to know, state if these can make a triangle, if these can be three sides. So this is that, add the two smallest, compare it to the largest. So here on number 1, I'm going to take my two smallest sides, the 4 and the 5. I'm going to add 4 plus 5. I'm going to get that 9. I'm going to open that big circle so I can put a greater than, less than, or equal to sign in there. And then I'm going to put that longest side over here. And I see that the sum is greater than the longest side, and that was the rule. If the sum of the two shortest sides is greater than, then yes, we have a triangle. Okay? So this is how I set it up so I can look at that, remembering that we need that alligator facing left, facing towards the sum of the two shorter sides. On the ordering these, we are looking at ordering from largest to smallest, okay, and I always like to write in here L, arrow, S, that way it reminds me largest to smallest, okay, and we're looking at angles. So again, what we need to do is we need to locate our sides, and this is where we label those S, M, and L for smallest side, middle side, and large side. So here I'm looking at this triangle number 7. I'm seeing that 16 is my smallest side. I see that 17 is the middle number for M, and then my longest side is 20. So across from every side is an angle in a triangle. Across from every angle is a side. Sides and angles are always across from each other in triangles. So I'm going to take my I want largest. That's why we always write and double check. I want my largest first, my largest angle first. So I'm going to go to my longest side. I'm going to go across, and I'm going to see here where my largest angle is, because it's always going to be across. So here the first one would be angle C. Then we're going to go to the medium side right here, segment CB. We're going to go across, and we're going to find out that our middle or medium angle is going to be angle D. And then across from our smallest side is our smallest angle, angle B. Kind of ran out of room there. Didn't have a whole lot of room to write there. All right. Remember, it says right here, draw the triangles for 10 and 12. All that means here is draw in the triangle. It's triangle EFG, so we have E, F, and G. FG right here is 10.9. EG right here is going to be 17. And EF right here is 10.9. Okay? I'm just working through the drawing it out so you guys understand how to draw it out. Then on the other side, we're now looking at angles, and we want angles shortest to longest. Or sorry, look at sides, sorry. And so we want shortest to longest. So we're going the opposite direction now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, and for number 15, 16, you'll do the same thing. You'll draw and you'll label your angles. Here, I'm going to take a look at number 13. I'm going to find my smallest angle, which I see is up here at angle F. And I know across from my smallest angle is my smallest side. Now between 63 and 62, it's a close call, but 62 is the middle or medium size, and across from that will be the middle or medium side. And then here, 63 is our largest, across is our largest. So we do want to start with the smallest, so we go over here, we're labeled S, and I have segment GE. You need to make sure these are segments. Okay, I've talked to my students about this. Sides of shapes, of polygons, are segments. Segment has a start and a stop, so that's what this is. So we have segment GE, followed by the middle, segment GF. And again, what order you put the letters in, whether you say segment GF or segment FG, does not matter. Then we have our largest or longest side, segment FE. Okay, and I'll go ahead and just so we have the angles down here for number 15, when we draw this out, we have angle VWX. Okay, angle V is 50 degrees. Angle W right here is 48 degrees, and angle X is 82 degrees. And then you'll do the exact same process of small, medium, and large, and then you'll do the same thing for number 16. Hopefully this helps you guys out with the assignment as well.